Hey, what's good, YouTube? Unless you've been living under a rock for the last year or about 8 months to a year, there's a singer that goes by the name David, who basically has been accused of making some horrible decisions. He's been associated with a minor, dating a minor for years, covering it up. The girl goes missing, hiding and running away from her family, rape allegations, other just wild allegations that have been kind of surfacing and coming up. Last year, while he was on tour, there was a decomposed body that was found inside of his car, his Tesla, that was parked inside of like a parking lot, just decomposing, and eventually the car was towed, and they had done research on who's the body and things of that nature. And basically, David was recently arrested about 3 days ago. And so today we're going to be reacting to some of the charges that he's being faced against, or charges against him. This is the video by Long Crime Sidebar with Jesse Weber. I love this channel. Been subscribed for a long time. They're always live and always having a whole bunch of stuff going on. So please make sure you support the original creator, Jesse. Appreciate this. But I really had to talk about this before I called it a night tonight because this is wild. I've been looking forward to seeing David's demise. I'm gonna sound like a generational hater, but we just don't side with creeps over here. So as soon as the allegations started coming out, I tried to give everybody the benefit of the doubt, but I followed the case or followed what was going on about it for just a little bit of time on Reddit and a few other YouTube channels like Trap More Ross, where he was giving a whole bunch of good information. So let's go ahead and get into this video now.
Out one night and never comes back. Their grief is uncalculable.
The LA County District Attorney has just made a big decision regarding criminally charging singer David in connection with the murder of 14-year-old Celeste Rivas Hernandez. It was a shocking press conference where we learned never before heard details of this case and investigation, and where some of the questions we have had for the last 7 months have been answered. Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law and Crime. I'm Jesse Weber. Hey, real quick, before we go any further, I gotta tell you about this app that I think you're gonna love. It's our partner, Upside. So Upside gets you cash back. Yes,
sorry, I'm gonna have to skip the ad. I'm sorry about
Upside
that.
marketing sidebar. Huge day in David news. There was a big press conference that was held by the Los Angeles District Attorney's Office. I'm talking about LA District Attorney Nathan Hochman. This is in conjunction with the LAPD. In this room, they were flanked by a mugshot, a new mugshot of David, and a picture of Celeste Rivas Hernandez. We have finally learned whether David will be criminally charged and with what. And remember, this comes on the heels of what we reported last week, the arrest of the 21-year-old romantic homicide singer on suspicion of the murder of 14-year-old Celeste Rivas Hernandez. 7 months ago, her reported decomposed and dismembered body was found in the trunk of a car reportedly registered to the singer. And it was confusing because he was arrested but not charged last week. And we thought that's strange because our reporting was, and we saw this from TMZ and other outlets, that a grand jury had reportedly been hearing evidence for quite some time in this case when the arrest came down. So why was he arrested and not charged? And we speculated and wondered, did the grand jury not believe there was enough evidence to charge him with a crime? Maybe it wasn't a grand jury with the power to indict, maybe just to hear evidence and lock in testimony. Maybe they were still hearing evidence when the arrest came down. And that's why you saw, and we've heard this a little bit from TMZ too, whether or not the LAPD and the DA, maybe their offices were not on the same page.
Oh, fuck no. They're like, I'm not saying there was any type of cover up with this or anything on that nature, but I'm just not understanding what took so long. I'm understanding an investigation, but this investigation took 8 months to even just get this guy arrested. Like that's a problem, bro. Imagine just if there was other people or what other type of connections. What other type of connections are around that are kind of like covering this up, or they have their own interest to make sure
the grand jury
does not actually get arrested before this actually came about. Yo, I'm not hearing that.
Not believe there was enough evidence to charge him with a crime. Maybe.
How is there not enough evidence, bro? Me as a regular civilian, if there's a dead person that is found inside of my car, even if I'm innocent. Secondly, there's too many allegations or too much suspicion around him and the Celeste lady, or I can't even call her a lady because that's a 14-year-old girl. But the Celeste kid, man, like There was definitely enough to go ahead and ring this kid in, or ring this man in.
It wasn't a grand jury with the power to indict, maybe just to hear evidence and lock in testimony. Maybe they were still hearing evidence when the arrest came down. And that's why you saw, and we've heard this a little bit from TMZ too, whether or not the LAPD and the DA, maybe their offices were not on the same page. You go to this press conference, that was not the case. I'll get to it in a second. So remember what also happened last week. The LAPD, the PIO, released a statement. Detectives from Los Angeles Police Department Robbery Homicide Division have arrested David Burke, a 21-year-old resident of Los Angeles, for the murder of Celeste Rivas. Burke is being held without bail. The case will be presented to the district attorney's office on Monday for filing consideration. That's today. Now, this also came in from the LA County District Attorney's Office last week. Greg Reisling. Good evening. Our office is aware of the arrest of David Anthony Burke by the Los Angeles Police Department. The case is expected to be presented to the Major Crimes Division, at which point prosecutors will review the facts and evidence to determine whether there is sufficient evidence to file charges. At this time, additional information is not available. We will share an update on Monday once a filing decision has been made. So you hear that language and you wonder, again, were they on the same page? Now, LAPD Captain...
Once again, I'm not... Maybe this is bigger than me. How is he arrested if there's no charges? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not... Maybe I'm missing something. So let me just continue.
And Scott Williams told NBC last week regarding David's arrest at this home in the Hollywood Hills, "We did the best we can to keep tabs on him, but once we developed probable cause to arrest him for murder, then we were on him pretty diligently." And he told the California Post they had a probable cause warrant with them when they made the arrest. And there were photos of armed police outside the residence making the arrest. Per reporting from the California Post, David appeared to be in handcuffs. He was led away. A neighbor told the outlet there were so many cops. There was apparently an officer on a loudspeaker shouting surrender. It was a big scene. We also heard from David's attorneys. So Blair Burke, Marilyn Benarski, and Regina Peter, they released a statement saying, "Let us be clear, the actual evidence in this case will show that David Burke did not murder Celeste Rivas Hernandez, and he was not the cause of her death."
Game over. You're done, bro. I don't even want to hear too much. Unless literally you can actually be fully acquitted of these actions. Hey, you kind of being associated with that 14-year-old girl is, no offense, kind of enough for me, just based on like some of the evidence that has been going around, some of your friends, the way that they're dismissing so much stuff and just hiding other things. This was just handled so horribly. And I really do. I mean, I hope that you're innocent, man. I don't wish, you know, obviously no innocent person to be condemned. But damn, dude, this evidence is so...
There has been no indictment returned by any grand jury in this case, and no criminal complaint filed.
I wonder if this case is going to take years, or if it's just going to be, here's DNA... You know, and
you'll hear Nathan Hochman maybe suggest otherwise about a criminal complaint. David has only been detained under suspicion. We will vigorously defend David's innocence. Now, again, this was from last week. We got to talk about what happened today. Okay? By the way, before I even get into today...
That's why he was arrested. I think that was the clarification I needed. So he wasn't arrested based on, like, any charges at the moment, originally. It was more a suspicion, which... Okay.
TMZ reported that their source told them...
One more time? Well, if you guys could also give me clarifications and your input on this whole topic or discussions in general. Why did I just do that? Just in general, based around this, man, because this is one of those things.
No criminal complaint filed, although
I think we're all kind of on the same page here,
right? Suggest otherwise about a criminal complaint. David has only been detained under suspicion. We will vigorously defend David's innocence. Now, again, this was from last week. We got to talk about what happened today. Okay? By the way, before I even get into today, TMZ reported that their source told them that the ME, the medical examiner's office, determined Celeste's manner of death to be homicide. Okay?
She looks like a kid.
Takes us now to today.
Like, she's a kid.
Los Angeles District Attorney Nathan Hochman held a press conference alongside members of the LAPD, including Scott Williams, who I mentioned before, even indicated Beth Silverman will be the lead prosecutor on this case, which is interesting because we had previously reported she was the one who was apparently presenting evidence to this grand jury. She's a career prosecutor, particularly in homicide cases. And this was the moment, after 7 months, when Nathan Hochman announced the charging decision for David Anthony Burke. David.
Today, I am announcing the charges against David Anthony Burke, the musician known as David, spelled D4VD, in connection with the brutal and horrific murder of Celeste, a 14-year-old at that time. These charges include the most serious charges that a DA's office can bring. That is first-degree murder with special circumstances. The special circumstances being lying in wait, committing this crime for financial gain, or murdering a witness in an investigation. These special circumstances carry with it, along with the first-degree murder charge, a maximum sentence of life without the possibility of parole or the death penalty. The determination.
Yeah. I'm not wishing for anybody's death. I'm not wishing. You know what I mean? There's definitely levels to this. But once again, if you're found guilty and you truly are guilty of these type of heinous things, man, I mean, you just killed a 14-year-old girl, stuffed her into a car to rot inside of a summer car, or during the summertime where you're on stage having a nice time in your life, your friends are lying, hiding out all the evidence, and just making a shit show, and the whole time the family is literally suffering, the internet is on a rage, like, we're not... Get this guy the
whether
fuck
or not
out
the
of
district attorney's office will seek the death penalty will be made at a later time.
My bad, Chad.
Before I get into the actual charges, and there are additional charges against Mr. Burke, including continuous sexual acts, lewd and lascivious sexual acts.
Lascivious? Like, what the fuck does that even mean? Like, lascivious? I sound so ignorant. Excuse me. I gotta look that up. Lascivious? What the hell is... What the fuck does... Lascivious... I misspelled up early. Let's see. Fuck no. I don't want to read that out loud, dude. I shouldn't even... Like, I don't even want to read that out loud. Yeah. Sounds about right.
With an individual under 14 years old and mutilating a human remains of a body. Before I get into the description of these charges and their seriousness, I want to look at this as a parent. I am a parent of 3 children, and a parent's nightmare is a situation where your daughter goes out one night and never comes back. As we will show in a court of law, and what I also want to make sure about that the understanding of these charges is clear, is my description of these charges is not evidence that we are going to present in court. These charges, in fact, will not be evidence in the court. Evidence will be the witness testimony, the documents, and different types of admissible testimony that we will admit into court. In the prosecution.
No, I'm not to knock this guy because that sounds secure, but he kind of gave us a big, hey, listen, I'm here for the people, but the evidence, no. You need to present. I mean, I'm not saying you're going to be withholding evidence, but I can imagine that there's going to be evidence that's withheld. There's going to be a ton of politics within this. And to be honest, I'm not sure, no offense, if I'm even trusting how this is going, even just based off of the language that he's saying now. I want to see DNA evidence. What? I mean, of course, witness testimony, but the witnesses have been fucking lying.
And if it leads to the eventual trial of Mr. Burke, to convince a jury.
It literally doesn't, like, no offense, I forgot this guy's name, but it literally doesn't look, or I forgot this guy's name, but it literally doesn't even seem like, hey, no offense, I could be completely wrong, and it's wrong to even throw this at, he's a father, but, well, I mean,
of 12 people.
Believe you're a commissioner, I mean, it would be the first time. But let me not just willy-nilly throw these type of things around. I just hope that they take this case very seriously. We cannot be having, obviously, trafficking, sex trafficking, adults, kids. This whole case is just a mess.
Beyond a reasonable doubt.
I really do hope the whole LA County can knock the shit out the park. Like, high key.
Out. That each and every one of these charges is true, as well as the special allegations and circumstances that have been alleged.
Okay. First of all, we suspected that David would be charged with murder after that was what he was arrested for, and in other court documents that came out a couple months ago, we know that he was being investigated for murder. But first-degree murder with special circumstances? Lying in wait to kill? Murdering a witness as part of an investigation? Murdering for financial gain? And now facing the possibility...
Like, they're basically giving him charges to make it... That way, when the defense comes, they can literally say, hey, look, none of this actually sticks. I doubt he did this shit for money. I doubt he did it for money. Yo,
Possibility of the death penalty, even though it's my understanding there is a
unless I'm missing
moratorium on
something, I don't
executions
know.
in
I
California.
gotta learn more about this
That
stuff.
is a huge deal. And in a minute, we're going to get to the reasons the DA believes the evidence purportedly shows
That's what I want.
that.
That's
But
what I
what you're
want.
seeing are different alternative theories on how to prove the murder charge here. And
Yo,
clearly,
Jesse, just for future reference, bro.
they
You gotta
believe
be able. All
David
these
is at the center,
PNGs,
that David
they're
is
not
the one
HD. Have this
responsible.
thing turned all
Now,
the
to
way
be
up.
clear,
You
he
gotta
is
get better at this.
innocent until proven guilty, and we don't know the exact evidence that the
That's true as well.
prosecution is going to produce. But also, the sex charges, this is something we have talked about before. Steve Fisher, the private investigator who has been representing the owner of the property where David had reportedly been staying at in the Hollywood Hills, reportedly near where the Tesla was found, he has been saying for months that David could already be charged with sex crimes. That aside from the alleged murder,
That's literally what I led with, right? So hey, one more time. Outside of just the murder, that's the suspicious part. Some of these things are just undeniable. Yo, you have photos of you and this girl. Like, what's going on? And it's several of you and your friends with these photos, and it's all over the internet. It's like literally on your Instagram.
that there's evidence that David was allegedly having a relationship with a minor.
Chat.
And you heard Nathan Hochman say continuous, meaning more than one time over a period of time. And you're going to hear later when Hochman talks about digital evidence. Are we suggesting here text messages?
Like, it's not funny
showing
whatsoever.
This relationship?
I look crazy because
photos,
cutting off my hair,
videos, witness statements of those around the
This nigga's
two,
cooked.
maybe. And I'll tell you what, this is the
This
part
guy's
of the
cooked,
press
rather.
conference where Hochman talks more about the alleged crimes, and he goes into the
I don't even
different
wanna see
theories.
your
Again,
face, bro.
lying
It's
in
like,
wait,
I don't- it borderline
murdering a
feels
witness.
disrespectful.
Take a look.
On April 23rd, 2025, has been alleged by the complaint, Celeste, a 14-year-old at that time, went to Mr. Burke's house in the Hollywood Hills.
So we're literally coming up on a
She
year.
was never heard from again.
She went missing on April 23rd. She's dead by the summertime. And a year later, here we are.
On September 8th,
Today's date's April
2025, as
This
alleged
video
in
probably
the
uploaded on the
complaint,
20th.
Mr. Burke, Miss Celeste remains, her dismembered and decomposed remains were found in 2 bags inside of a front trunk of a car registered to Mr. Burke.
Bro, and that's another thing. As a Tesla owner, those frunks are tiny. Yeah, they didn't just, she was killed before she got in that frunk. And I don't know if you've ever seen the size of a Tesla, the frunk, bro. You can barely put a backpack in that spot. I mean, you can put a backpack, but like, bro, even a basketball is like, hey, questionable, okay? Imagine putting a 14-year-old child into the front of that car. Yo, what did you have to do?
Thereafter
Oh my
began
gosh.
an investigation. The investigation was to determine who killed, who murdered Celeste months and months before. That investigation was carried out in unison and in partnership between the LAPD's Robbery Homicide Division and the District Attorney's Office. At every point in the investigation, through the arrest and the filing of charges, the LAPD and the District Attorney's Office have worked in lockstep. There's been no disagreements amongst these entities in deciding how to proceed with this case, ultimately leading to these charges today. So what you have as well with these charges is that, again, there are 3 sets of charges that have been brought. The first-degree murder with special circumstances, and again, those special circumstances are lying in wait. That Celeste went
Lying
to
in
Mr.
wait?
Burke's
What does
home
that
on
mean?
the night of April 23rd,
I still don't know what that
2025, as alleged in the complaint, at his invitation, and again, was not heard from again. The second is a special circumstance being that this murder was committed for financial gain.
Cheers.
As the evidence will show in court, the financial gain was for Mr. Burke to maintain his very lucrative musical career that Celeste was threatening
I
on that
see.
particular.
So maybe the gain wasn't to keep her alive. Maybe the gain was for her to go away. Like, yo, I'm about to go through another door, another place, and we cannot have this association. Too much has already gone on. X. That makes more sense. And I think I understand that.
The third charge in addition to lying in wait and for financial gain,
I think that's what that is, right?
murdering
Jay?
a witness to an investigation. In this particular case, as the evidence will come out in court, the witness to the investigation was Celeste, and the investigation was into the lewd and
Boom, boom. I get that. Like I don't know where my thinking cap was at. It all just clicked. Okay, so essentially what he's saying is, hey, this girl is the only witness because everybody else is kind of like in tandem with what's going on. They're all associates of this guy. They see what's going on. Hey, cool. You're the only witness for your own charge, especially being missing and things of that nature. Now you're killed. And why were you killed? Hey, he doesn't want to ruin his career. He shouldn't have been frolicking in that yard, and he was dancing in that yard. You know what I mean? And now look at you, man. Okay.
lascivious sexual acts committed by Mr. Burke.
I don't even want to like.
It is the subject of count 2 of this complaint with Celeste while she was under 14 years old.
Wow. So it seems a fair interpretation would be she allegedly goes to this house, this property, that David, they're going to be saying allegedly lured her there or got her there, invited her there. And either he allegedly wanted her there because he planned to kill her, again, if the allegations are true, these are the allegations put forward, but that she was what? Planning on going public? Or
no
telling...
doubt. I don't even doubt it. He literally had love songs about how she was dead. Like, it's some sick...
Someone about their relationship? Planning to go to authorities about this relationship? I don't know. But that this was essentially going to risk his career. So he allegedly kills her to keep her quiet, make sure his album, his endorsements, his tour wouldn't be affected. I'm wondering if that's going to be the argument. I wonder if that's going to be the theory of the case. And I assume that's going to be the argument. Now, how will they prove that?
That is the argument. That's literally... My bad, Jesse, but that's literally what they just said. That is the argument. Yo, this guy got scared. He realized he was fucking around with something he shouldn't have been messing around with. Panicked. Hey, what's the best way to get rid of her without her saying anything? We can't pay her off. I mean, you shouldn't be doing it in the first place. We can't pay her off. She doesn't have a chance to live no more. Let's get her out of here. Sick shit.
How will they...
And I doubt he acted alone. Like, I guarantee you, there's a system that kind of went into this unless this guy just went over there on some jackrabbit pussy shit and...
prove that intent
based
on the circumstances and timing of this alleged killing, text messages, witness statements. We shall see. But again, different theories here. And remember, I just go back to this, and I don't know if this for sure, but during the grand jury, it was reported by certain outlets that this record executive had testified. I mean, again, allegedly, what do the people around...
Covering up her face? Like, bro... so like you made a bad decision worse, fam. Like
David,
it's not funny. It's
what
literally
were they
fucking
told?
insane.
What did they communicate to him about his career, about his finances? Just things I'm thinking about right now. And then we go into where Hochman talks about Celeste's family.
I had the chance to meet with some of the family members of Celeste, and their grief is uncalculable as to what happened to their daughter. What they have demanded, what we have assured them that the district attorney's office working with LAPD would give them is the proof beyond a reasonable doubt on who killed their daughter, on how their daughter was killed, when their daughter was killed, and bring that killer to justice. That killer that we have now charged is David Anthony Burke.
Now, at one point, Nathan Hochman brings on LAPD Chief of Police Jim McDonald, who not only talks more about the investigation, but also addresses the frustration the public has had with
thank you.
Law enforcement regarding this case and a lack of public comments or transparency.
Throughout the 7-month investigation, this department has faced criticism for how we handled the case and for our decision not to provide details.
Why? Let's hear why, buddy. I gotta hear why. Gotta hear why.
I want to be clear about something. My duty is not to fuel speculation. It's to deliver justice, and that requires patience and discipline on everybody's part. This investigation was driven by a single purpose: to secure justice for Celeste Rivas and for those who loved her. We had to be certain that nothing we did or said would ever jeopardize this case. Ms. Rivas was a reported runaway from Riverside County.
Not to interrupt, but for what it's worth, once again, I could imagine, hey, like, not it's LA County, so I'd imagine that this is like one of the biggest, if not NYPD, LA County, right? Police departments in the nation, maybe even the world. I don't know. I don't know how that works. I could imagine though, literally, hey, this is such a high, like, there's so much high level stuff going on with this. Not even high level, because David's not a he was a star, but he's not a superstar, bro. He's not an A-list celebrity. Like your parents, my parents, nobody. Who the fuck is this guy? Not even he has his fans. I've heard a few of his songs, and I remember whenever he was on Fortnite. But I could imagine though, like record labels, or if there's other people that might be associated or might have inside information, might have had inside information, then it makes more sense for the LAC to be like, hey, LAC, I don't know, the LA County Police Department to actually be like, hey, look, you know, to stop this. I don't know why I keep looking over here. The camera's right here, but this is kind of getting obnoxious, and to be honest, I just need to see this. I mean, he's already arrested. I want to see this guy under the, like, it's too soon, because once again, if he's innocent, then I do want to retract a lot of what I'm saying. But this holds weight. It's not him personal. It's not a personal thing. It's to whoever the fuck did this.
During the course of our
anybody else who would be associated with it. So just want to clear that up.
investigation, detectives learned that she had been involved in a sexual relationship with Mr. Burke when she was a minor and he was an adult. On April 23rd, 2025, Ms. Rivas arrived at Mr. Burke's home in the Hollywood Hills. That's the last time she was known to be alive. On September 8th, 2025, Ms. Rivas's dismembered and badly decomposed body was discovered in the front trunk of Mr. Burke's impounded Tesla. From that moment forward, our investigators faced an extraordinary, difficult, and complex case. The condition of her remains delayed the medical examiner's ability to be able to determine cause of death. The substantial amount of time that passed between her death and the discovery meant that crucial evidence had degraded or disappeared.
Sure.
And as detectives worked to uncover the truth, they also had to sift through and debunk a great deal of false information circulating publicly.
Sure.
These challenges were real, and they required patience, precision, and an unwavering commitment to the facts. Despite these obstacles, and despite intense public pressure, our Robbery Homicide Division detectives remained steadfast in their duties. They recovered and analyzed a substantial amount of digital and forensic evidence. They stayed focused, disciplined, and committed.
That's what I want to hear. Let's see about this forensic evidence. The digital evidence is there, bro. I've seen the images myself of David and this girl. Hey, that's enough for him to be away for a couple of years, but what forensic evidence do we have linking him to this murder? We either need to, not say acquit this guy, we need to either convert, like, what is going on? I understand that
to uncovering the truth.
Trust
Their
the
work
process.
in close collaboration.
If you guys couldn't tell, this is where the frustration comes from. It's taking its time. So I could imagine, I'm hoping, this is not the case, but I can imagine this is just getting started. I really feel for the family, the parents and stuff. Like, they should throw up a GoFundMe, and hey, if we can donate 10, 15, I'm not rich, right? You know, small YouTube channel. 10, 15, 20, 30, 40 bucks to them. Yeah. Like, I don't know how.
With the district attorney.
I don't know if they need money. I just don't know. It's like, where do you go from here? Let's continue.
His office has brought us to this moment today. I want to thank the district attorney and his team, as always, for their partnership. This case demanded coordination, persistence, and a shared commitment to justice.
And that makes sense. He's not wrong. You don't want to say too much that could jeopardize a case, give a criminal defendant ammunition to say the investigation was tainted or the prosecution is tainted, or that you had blinders on and were only looking at one person without looking at exculpatory evidence. But you also have more about cause of death, right? Which hasn't been publicly released because of a court order. The medical examiner's records have been sealed. In fact, Hochman took questions about a lot of things, and he took questions about this. And he talked about how details of the allegations regarding the special circumstances, they're going to be produced in court. He didn't talk so much about it, but he did talk a little bit more about the coroner's report.
So with respect to the coroner's report, we will be seeking quite quickly to provide an order to the court that now allows the coroner to release that report to the public.
So once that report is released, and we will see what the coroner's finding or conclusion is, that's going to be a piece of the puzzle. I mean, I hate to say this, but again, it's tough to think about cause of death and how you analyze that when you're dealing with reportedly dismembered and decomposed remains. So could they be able?
I don't even want to have this image, but like, especially if this is in literally LA. I live in Texas, man, bro. If it's the peak fucking hot, like, it's the hot. Well, I guess not Arizona, but it's like the hotbed of America for one. 2, it's the hottest part of the year for 3. It's a body that can't fit into the small area. Like I can't. Like, bro, I wish I had something like, bro. This bag of Wingstop could fit in there. You know what I mean? Like, it's not the hugest thing. And then you have this 14-year-old girl, probably about 90 to 115 pounds. Like, just, I don't want to put that image out there, bro. It's fucking gross.
Able to determine, let's say, asphyxiation or poisoning or blunt force trauma.
Oh, that's. He's right. That's not even the cause of death. Who knows? Who knows? It could have acid. It could have been fire. It could have been a gunshot wound. It could have been a bat, like,
or a gunshot wound. And I don't even want to think about this, but
don't want to think about this shit,
cause
dude.
of death, the alleged dismemberment. By the way,
bro, I have 2 fucking sisters around this girl's age. So if it sounds like I'm a little bit passionate about it, I don't have kids. But I could just imagine my sister going out to like an event, concert, and disappearing. And then next thing you know, I'm hearing about it on like.
You heard the defense attorney say he's not the cause of death. Is that because they have their own interpretation of what the cause of death could be? Is this going to be a battle of medical experts? Or are they going to point the finger at somebody else and say that person is the cause of Celeste's death? And Hochman was asked, why did it take so long to make an arrest here, given, again, the body?
That's my thing. I don't think he worked alone. I doubt 100% he worked alone. I'd be surprised if it was only 5 people that worked in this shit. But why did it take at least so long for this guy to be arrested? I'm just not understanding that part. I understood let's not talk about this, or let's not disclose that, or let's let them do their jobs. This thing he's been outperforming, and then went to go hide, residing and shit.
Actually found in David's car, and you look at the state of Celeste.
I think the police chief got it right, that in a situation where you don't have an eyewitness account, or we can't point to a video that shows the killer killing someone, you have to go through the very rigorous and thorough investigation to look at all the digital and forensic evidence. You have to speak with witnesses, often who are cooperative, and some who are not cooperative, in order to obtain all the information necessary to decide who did what, when, how, and what their mental state was at the time. That is what we've been doing over the last, between September 8th, roughly, and today when we bring these charges on April 20th. So again, it's a type of case that you want to make sure you get maximum information. And by the way, if there's anyone out there that has material information about this particular murder or any other actions taken by Mr. Burke, please come forward to the Los Angeles Police Department, come forward to the LA County DA's office, and report that information.
So it gives us an idea of the evidence, maybe lack of evidence. You talk about a smoking gun, that one thing. No, totality of the evidence, all of the evidence, not one thing. Some cooperative and non-cooperative witnesses. Is anyone working under an immunity agreement to provide testimony? We talked so much before about Neil.
Dude, you're so blessed, man. You're just so. This guy right here. Don't be surprised when you see this guy in jail, or not jail. I don't want to say that he's guilty of anything. Don't be surprised. I forgot his name. This is a familiar face. Don't be surprised when he's in court.
Langston, David's purported friend, how he was arrested in Montana for allegedly failing to appear as a witness.
Oh, he was supposed to be in jail.
Under an immunity agreement to provide testimony. We talked so much before about Neil Langston, David's purported friend.
Neil. Boom. Fuck you, Neil.
And how he was arrested in Montana for allegedly failing to appear as a witness, seemingly in this case. What was it?
This guy has some dark lore behind him, bro. Like, yo, complicit at least, at a minimum. Yo.
Front of the grand jury, TMZ had reported that he had only testified for 30 to 40.
That's his mugshot. That's his mugshot. He has no shame, bro. There's no shame.
40 minutes. If that's the case, was he uncooperative? Is he a witness? I can't say for sure.
Who knows?
Neil,
You better flip on David. That's what I would do. Make your parents flare up, bro. Flip on that guy,
Langston did not come up today. Now, according to Hochman, the investigation is ongoing. They believe they have a strong case because of the totality of the evidence that was obtained by the LAPD robbery homicide unit. They talk about the work that the DA's office has done. They believe they can prove these charges, the special allegations, the special circumstances. And this is where Nathan Hochman discusses whether anyone else will be charged.
Is it possible that you will be arresting other people within his circle, and did he act alone in this death?
Again, with respect to whether or not there's any other individuals or we're going to take any other actions, you will know about them if we do, but at this point I'm not commenting.
Do you believe that you know how she was killed, beyond it being homicide? The actual cause of death?
The coroner's report will be released shortly. Because it is not currently released, I'm not going to be commenting.
But was it determined? Not that.
You guys just let me know what you guys think below. This screams cover up. There's too much shit that would allow for a cover up, and not like I'm not saying anything. Just look at that's so false. That's not even fair. But just look at his face. I'm gonna just drop it there.
If you won't say what it was,
you know what I mean. He could be
has it been
very
determined?
authentic, and I could be completely wrong. I am not these guys, and I do not live in California, so who knows? But damn,
No,
dude,
she's still beyond
this is
it being
scary,
homicide.
sketchy.
The coroner has
hope
made a
true justice
determination
comes out.
on how
True justice comes out.
Celeste died, and at the point that the coroner's report becomes public, we'll be able to comment on it.
Was there a specific breakthrough last week? Is there physical evidence that ties David to this murder?
There is physical evidence and there is forensic and digital evidence that we intend to present in court to prove these charges beyond a reasonable doubt.
Only a couple more questions.
Yes.
In your investigation, and just to his question, are you able to tell us exactly what the smoking gun is? And also, if you can address the issue of his visit to Santa Barbara.
I don't know how I feel about this guy.
How does it connect with the murder?
So with respect to the actual details of the evidence we're going to be presenting in court, I'm not going to do that today.
We're not
As
gonna
far
get
as
any information at
the
the moment.
concept of a smoking gun, the smoking gun is the totality of the evidence that we're going to bring to prove any case, whether it's...
All right, so what I want to hear before I cut this video, I mean, I guess there's only 1 minute left, but let's sort of let it roll.
this case or any case
I want to see
beyond
what
a
LA
reasonable
County
doubt.
does. I want to see how this goes. I think-
An investigation is ongoing. If information comes forward on any with respect to any additional crimes, we will certainly investigate it.
One more
Yes.
question. One more.
There's been so much discussion about the difficulties in this case, the chief talked about it as well. What makes you confident you can prove these allegations?
What makes us confident is the totality of the evidence that has been obtained by the LAPD robbery homicide, by the work that the district attorney's office has done, that has led us to the point where we believe we can prove each and every one of these three charges and the special circumstances and the special allegation beyond a reasonable doubt.
So I guess it's possible someone else could be arrested or charged. I don't know, maybe if someone refuses to cooperate, refuses to provide testimony. We will continue to stay on top of this case wherever it will go. Thank you so much for joining us here on Sidebar. As always, please subscribe on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you should get your podcasts. You can also check us out on NBC's Peacock as well.
All right, so kind of what I was gonna wrap this up with is, I'm happy that this guy finally got arrested. More information needs to come out. I hope this chart, or hopefully they do they take their time and make sure that everything's done properly. I don't want this guy to be arrested if he's innocent. I don't want people to be out free walking around if they're supposed to be in jail. But what needs to happen is justice needs to be served as swiftly as possible, and make this shit right. Be as public and transparent about it as possible, so we can get as much more people aware of these type of things that go on. Make our younger family, or young people, just aware of the things that go on in this world. Because bro, this shit is dark. But once again, my name is Infinite Ghost. It's been a pleasure. Well, this video specifically has been a little bit rough. But I'd really appreciate if you guys liked, commented, subscribed. I'm going to be streaming 2 to 3 times a week on my YouTube channel and then also on Kick. And I'm going to be, the plan is to have at least 3 uploads weekly for the next year. So we're going to see how this goes, okay? But once again, Infinite Ghost, I'm out. Peace.